yesterday. Today another video because tomorrow Worlds already starts. So today in this last video before Worlds I wanted to show you my PICKEMS. If you don't even know what PICKEMS is, go on the LOL esports site. You can log in with your account and you can choose some picks on who you think will advance, and you can get points, and at the end of Worlds, depending on how much you guessed right, you get a certain amount of points, and then you get rewards. You can get stickers, emotes, you can get capsules which you can open. There can be anything inside, but I don't know if this ever even happened once. You can if you actually manage to guess everything right, you get all the ultimate skins: Lux, Udyr, Ezreal, Misfortune, Samira. Did I forget any? Maybe, I think there's one more, but so you get all these plus the champion and even more. So try it, guys. You can't lose anyway. So, and if you're lucky, you get all the ultimate skins. So yeah, the PICKEMS is two parts. The first part is Swiss, who will advance. How this works is you have to choose 3 teams that you think will advance to Swiss stage, to quarterfinals, with this score line. So first, the entire thing is about. So, oh my, I can't talk. So the point of the entire thing is, first of all, you choose the 8 teams who you think will advance, and the 8 teams I chose are Genji, T1, KT, BLG, AL, G2, HLE, and TES. With the G2, this is gonna be 50-50. It could be Fly too, but G2 really look good at the end, so let's see. And it's also, you can get very unlucky. For example, a team like HLE, if they just have 2 bad games, you can get them as your last match, you know, your 2-2 match, and then you're just fucked basically. But if it goes to G2 Fly again, that would be amazing, and then maybe we see Fly, but I chose G2 anyway. So these are my 8 teams. If I guess them all right, I get points. And now there's this extra quest. So you have to guess 1 team that advances 3-0, 1 team that advances 3-1, and 1 team that advances 3-2. This to me is clearly Genji 3-0. This is also pretty clear. KT is exactly that kind of team that goes 3-2. I could see TES here too. I could see G2 here too. But G2 is too much a coin flip for me. They might not even advance at all. So I think I'll bet on KT. You know, I think the draws are being made, are yet to be made. But let's say if KT gets Genji early, they lose definitely 1, and I see them losing against BLG or something too. So there is the chance they end up being 2-2. Yeah, let's just see. So these 2 to me were very clear, and with the 3-1 I was struggling a lot. I think BLG could be a 3-1 team. I think HLE could be a 3-1 team. I mean, even Genji, you never know. They can have 1 bad game. Even they can go 3-1, but I just felt like T1 is such a typical 3-1 team, because say they have a 3-game series and so many times they lose the first game and then win the other 2 games, and sometimes it actually feels like they are just trolling in game 1, or not trolling, but trying so hard to just find out what their enemies are about, and so they are willing to just drop 1 game. And I feel it's gonna be the same in the group stage, so probably they will drop a game against Genji, because usually it works like this. After the first day, there will be 8 teams that are 1-0. At the second day, those 1-0 teams play each other, which means there will be 4 2-0 teams at the end, and then the 2-0 teams play against each other. And this is the moment where I see T1 losing a game, maybe to Genji. If they don't get Genji, they might also be another 3-0 team. But I just feel like they just always meet each other, and I feel like it's gonna happen again. So yeah, I chose T1 as my 3-1 pick. And if you get all these right, these give extra points, even more points. So guys, just to make clear, please don't blame me if you choose the same and it's wrong. It's impossible to get everything right. As I mentioned, I think no one ever made this. And it's very early, because you're gonna see the second stage in a minute. But most of the time it's very early that already no one guessed it right. It can be little things like, let's say, instead of G2, for whatever reason, VKS advances. Why? Whoever knows. Yeah, there's maybe 1% of people that type this, and those 1% still have to type the other ones right too. So yeah, some teams are just some picks are just almost impossible to guess right, and this is the easy part. Later you can also guess for the quarters, of course, but the quarters have to be drawn, and then you can pick again. Okay, so now let's get to the second part. This is a bit more interesting. So in the second part you have different categories. For example, for some reason it's in German. Wait. Okay, now. So there are several categories: champions, players, teams, and event. And you get these questions and you have to choose a pick. Guys, this is literally like almost impossible. I will show you my picks and I will try to explain shortly to you why I chose them. But I'll be honest, not like, especially champion wise, not a single one I am 100% sure. Maybe Nico, but I'm like, all of them could easily be something else too. So first one, which champion will be picked the most? I chose Rel. Rel is very good support. It's pretty easy to play. Has a lot of CC, armor shred. It's in general a champion that isn't banned really. So it's basically always open. Since we are in Fearless Draft now, this is the first year with Fearless Draft, it's much harder to guess which champion will be picked the most, because back then, maybe some of you guys remember the Azir Corki meta. Like legit every game was Azir versus Corki. Back then you could easily just slam an Azir or Corki here and almost always be right. But it's harder now, and I just feel like Rel is such a good champion. It fits in a lot of comms. It can maybe really struggle in poke lanes like Ezreal Karma, but I feel like this champ doesn't have really a weakness, and yeah, I feel like it, and it's also mechanically not the hardest, you know. I wouldn't, like some champs, you could argue that a certain pro player might not be able to play it properly, but Rel, I feel it's like Alistair, it's like a champ you cannot really not be good at, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I chose Rel, but this could be so many gems, so many other gems too. I mean, we saw a lot of there were some mid lane gems I kept seeing again and again. Man, I can't think of any. I mean, Azir, for example, could easily also be, but the reason why I didn't pick Azir is because Azir is a champion that does get banned a lot of times. Rumble, for example, is a champion that is picked a lot. Xante is picked a lot. Yorick, like, you have to look for champions that are picked a lot, but usually not really banned a lot, except if the enemy, like the player, is known to be a one trick or something. Anyway, let's not get too long. So I chose Rel. Next champion. Which champion will be banned the most? I personally think it will be Nico. I don't know if any of you guys watched my champion difficulty tier list. I put Nico at the far top because this champion has so many mechanics and micro mechanics stuff, and it's just so annoying to play against it, and many teams, they just don't want to deal with that. It can easily swing fights, and you know, you can detect her 20 times, and then the 21st time she comes as a minion and still gets you for that 1R. And I feel like it's just gonna be such a power pick, which no one really wants to play against, because it's quite literally just cancer to play against. So that's why I chose Nico. And I also, just by watching the games, I felt like I saw Nico banned so many times. Anyway, next champion is which champion will have the highest win rate, minimum 5 games played. This is important because there are maybe champions that are known counter picks to certain other champions, which tend to win the games, but they can be so niche that they don't even have 5. Like, let's say, for example, I will just say a random example. For example, Yasuo, right? Yasuo is very situational. It's not really picked. We saw one today, ironically, but at the Asia Invitational, but he lost. And he can be one of those counter pick champions that just smurfed that game. But I feel like a champ like Yasuo is not even gonna be picked 5 times. So my idea was pick a champion that is banned a lot but still really strong, so when it does go through, it really wins all the time. And that's why I chose Azir, because as mentioned here, I don't think it will be the pick the most, because he will be banned a lot of times, but there will be 100% at least 5 games, and I feel like he will have the highest win rate. But all here too, there are so many options you could go here. It's Xante, you could say Rumble too. Not Rumble, maybe not, but yeah, it's almost impossible to guess, right? This one was the one I was struggling the most with. Which champion will have the lowest win rate? Honestly, this was a complete random. I could not decide, and I just basically, it's like a coin toss, but basically like rolled a dice with 174 sides online, and it landed on a certain number, and then I just chose the champion of this number. So yeah, I chose Victor. As said, I had zero idea what to choose here. Lowest win rate. This can also be, I don't know, man. It can be everything. It can be like literally. The more I think about, I just can't come up with anything. Yeah, and fifth option, which champion will have the most kills? I chose Kai'Sa, but there are so many other champs possible here too. It's usually an ADC, so ADC should have the most kills. Kai'Sa is a very dive heavy champ. He wants to go for kills. She wants to go for kills. Can really take over games when she's fed. And I chose her because of that active chasing kills gameplay. Because you could easily put Zeri here, Jinx here, Sivir here. You just never know. Yunara is super OP at the moment. And the only reason why I chose Kai'Sa is because from all of these champions, I feel like Kai'Sa is, maybe Jinx also, is trying to hard chase that kill or assist. But Kai'Sa is very dive heavy, and I feel like she's also gonna be picked a lot because this again is a champ that is generally not banned that often. So I could really see a Kai'Sa here, but Jinx, I almost chose Jinx because I think Jinx makes sense too. Especially with the resets, such a penta machine basically, and also picked a lot. So yeah, I chose Kai'Sa. Now let's get to the players. Which pro will have the highest KDA? So for people that maybe not know what KDA means, that's like kill, death, assists. So the better your KDA, the better the discrepancy between these are. So death is bad and kills and assists is good. So if you have low deaths but a lot of kills and assists, you have a good and high KDA. And here again, you could go for Chovy too easily. I chose Ruler because I feel like he just generally has more kills, and also Jovi's a very lane heavy champ player, and just macro outplays them all. But I feel like he tends to not sag waves often enough, even though he kind of changed in the past weeks. I noticed a change, but still I feel like Ruler is more proactive, more involved in everything, so I think he will have the higher KDA. But as I said, Chovy could go here easily too. But with, I mean, KDA, I don't know exactly how it works, but you could also potentially choose maybe a team that's gonna go out of the tournament early, but has one very, very good player, you know, sometimes. But in general, I will go for the teams that I think will be in the tournament for a long time. So that's why I chose Chovy for the second one. Which pro player will play the most different champions? Again, in this category, you should choose a player from a team that's going as far as possible, which of course in my opinion is Gen G, so I try to choose a Gen G player and I chose Chovy. But guys, I'm completely 50-50 here, because it could easily be this guy too, Carrier from T1. He's very well known to play everything basically. Okay, that's not gonna happen this Worlds, but this guy played support KD meta, but just as an example, because even in that meta, not everyone did this. But yeah, I will go for Chovy, but you could easily choose carrier here too. Which pro will get at least one pentakill? Again, I chose Ruler. Genji, best team. Ruler, so many games, he's just popping off. He picks his late game ADC, he farms his items, and then at the end he just steamrolls them all. So yeah, pentakill, I choose Ruler, but this is such a coin flip too. Last year we didn't have any pentakill, and the year before we had 2 pentakills, but one was by Fnatic and one was by BDS, I think. So this, how are you supposed to guess that? But if you want to go for the highest chance, I would say Ruler. Next one, which pro will get the most first bloods? So I feel like Owner ganks a lot. He in general fights a lot, ganks a lot. I seen him do some level 3 ganks and stuff like that. Even was it even level 2? I'm not sure anymore, but I feel like he's very hungry for blood early. But again, this is so hard to choose. There are other junglers that are also very aggressive. Inspire, the jungler from FlyQuest, is also someone I could see being here. It also depends on the champion pool. If you are more of a Sejuani player, it maybe not. But there are other junglers, they play Kiana, or what is popular too, Nafiri, even though they don't play assassin. Yeah, I just chose Owner, but this is very hard. And last is which pro will get the most kills in a single game. Sorry, I know it's boring, but again I chose Ruler for the same reason I chose him at pentakill and highest KDA. This guy just always pops off, and even at Worlds never seemed to really struggle. Yeah, he got caught by that one Azir ult. We saw the clip thousands of times by now, but still, these are just glimpses, and in general this guy is just popping off. So yeah, Ruler is definitely a high pick here, but you know, it can even be a very unexpected people like how's the Gala, for example. The let's say if IG would win, he's a very high kill potential guy. Anyway, I stop yapping. I chose Ruler. Now we come to teams. Which team will kill the most Elder Dragons? Again, I chose Genji. Why? Again, because I think they will go to the finals, and also they are the best in my opinion. So if it even comes to an Elder Dragon situation, I feel like most of the time Genji is gonna be ahead and have an advantage of getting the Elder anyway. And if they're not ahead, Genji is such a typical team to swing. Genji and T1 both are like that, are just typical to swing games at objectives like that. But I feel like Genji is gonna kill the most Elder Dragons. Next one is which team will have the most Baron steals. I chose T1. Why? I think all of you guys who are fans do know why. Because they have Gumayushi, the Baron Steel Master. Also Spellbook meta is back, and we have a lot of support with Smite. I even saw Owner play Sejuani with the Spellbook, so at one point they had 3 smites, which means you can smite the Baron at 3k or even higher, I don't know, which is insane. So I see T1 being a typical Baron Stealer team. Yeah, are the best team. So I see them to be the most probable to just steamroll one of the worst teams, you know. Even though, again, you could argue here that Genji will, except for game one, for the first series, they will probably face only good teams. So you could argue, oh, can they really beat one of the good teams very fast? But I say yes, especially because some of the games will be, a series will be 5 games maybe. And in one of those games they are just gonna stomp, I'm pretty sure. Next one is which team will get the most kills. This one was completely random. I definitely wanted to go for a Chinese team because Chinese teams are known for fighting a lot. Boom, 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 fighting, fighting. LPL is fun to watch. You have games with over 50 kills and stuff like that. It's amazing. So I just chose the, in my opinion, best Chinese team, which is BLG, to get the most kills done. And the last one is which team will play the most unique champions. Again, in this category, you choose a team that goes far, because the longer you play, the higher is the chance you start picking something else. You maybe go to best of 5s. You are forced because of Fearless Draft to pick new stuff. I also chose Chovy as playing the most different champs. So this to me is the most logical pick, even though T1 can be surprising here too, I think. Yeah, but I see. Maybe, you know, if I knew FlyQuest goes further, let's say I would guarantee no FlyQuest goes to the final, I think I would choose FlyQuest here. Anyway, I chose Genji. And now the last category is 5 random things about the event. First question, how many pentakills will there be? You can choose from 0, 1, 2 or 3 plus. 2 is very risky. In general, I would even recommend go for 0. Pentakills are not that often in Worlds, but I don't know, I just felt like this year a lot of hyper carry ADCs were picked and also were popping off, and I just feel like there will be at least one Jinx Penta and maybe a Zeri Penta or Smolder even. I could see something like Smolder doing a Penta. Zeri, we just had a Zeri Penta today. But even other champs can be Penta machines. Pyke can, even though it's very unlikely we see a Pyke Penta, but yeah, anyway, I chose 2 because I just felt like there are gonna be 2. How many Baron steals will there be? You can choose 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 plus. This again is very, very hard. Last Worlds, I chose 9 plus because I was sure, oh god. But you have to keep in mind, it's not even that many games that are being played, so you really have to be careful. That's why I chose 3 to 5, but for some reason I still feel like it's gonna be more. I don't know, man, 3 to 5. Especially with the spell book. Should I go for 6 to 8? I don't know. Maybe I will change this. How many reverse sweeps will there be in the World's knockout stage? So it's 7 games of best of 5s, and in my opinion, there's no chance in 7 games we will see a reverse sweep. So for the guys who don't know what a reverse sweep is, basically you play 5 games, and if you are behind 2-0 but manage to win 3-2 at the end, that's called a reverse sweep. And it's 99, 100 to 104, 105, and so on and so on. But guys, think like this. Even if it goes to a best of 5, the maximum amount of champions picked can be 50. And these 50 champions, I can guarantee you, will still be mostly the same. Which means in order to go above 99, there have to be 49 more unique picks that don't go through in order to even go to the next stage, and I just don't see that happen. I think there's around a pool of maybe 70 to 80 champions max that are constantly in the rotation of being picked because of reverse sweep. But still, I just don't see them picking something very new and crazy. You know, you won't see a Sheko or stuff like that. I just don't see any. And I feel like it's still going to be mostly the same 70, 80 champions every time. Maybe occasionally FlyQuest sprinkles an Urgot or a Garen in. Maybe we get I don't know, Silas. No, Silas is going to be picked anyway. Maybe a Jenna or Sona, something like that. Soraka, maybe situational, maybe a Karthus. But I don't see that being more than 99 champions, so that's why I chose this number. But I could be wrong completely because worlds can always go crazy. And last question, kind of a troll question, but don't be too sure. So the question is, will Teemo be picked? Guys, if you don't watch League of Legends, you probably don't even watch this video, but if you do and you don't know who Teemo is, it's basically like a meme champion in League of Legends. It's in pro play one of the worst champions possible, but if you play solo, it's such an annoying cancer champion, and it's everyone hates playing against this. And I remember I don't know if it was Worlds or MSI, but there was one team, they were out anyway, you know, they knew they are out of the tournament, but they had still one game to play, and then just for trolling, the guy picked Teemo top, and they got completely stomped. But if someone does this Worlds, then my guess of false never is wrong. So guys, you could maybe believe in the Scouts code, but I don't. I will still with no, he will not be picked. So yeah guys, that's my PICKEMS. I will update another video once the quarterfinals started. I hope you liked my picks. Maybe tell me in the comments. You can help me too. For example, as I said with the win rate, I had no ideas. Maybe if you have some pro insight, you can share your knowledge with me and tell me what you would pick or any things you would change. I would appreciate it a lot. But guys, keep it cool, keep it chill. This is just a casual video. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. We just shared the PICKEMS here, and I hope you enjoy. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.